Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, good everything. My name is Jason Weiss. This is our installment of the Ask Jason Weiss show on the Going Solo Media Network. I am your host, Jason Weiss. I am both a legal consultant, a legal coach, and I happen to be an attorney as well. So because I am an attorney, I need to put the disclaimer out there. So nothing I say today is legal advice. You haven't hired me. Should you need any type of legal advice, financial advice, consult an attorney directly. Don't come to me on this show. Come to me if you want, but don't come to me on this show. Nothing I say is legal advice. Don't rely on anything I said here, and we have no attorney-client privilege at this point in time. So with that being said, I am very happy to have on here one of my friends, clients, colleagues, and just an all-around great guy who I will talk about how we got to meet each other. But this is Jose Flores, and he is the Mindset Disruptor. Now, what does that mean? Well, Jose is going to tell us in about 30 seconds what that means. But he is just when you think about the positive thoughts in life and never giving up and relentless and 110% in everything he does and the things that this man has accomplished, amazing. A phenomenal father, a phenomenal husband, a spiritual family and gentleman. This is the guy that, you look at him and you say, damn, that guy's got it. He's got it going on. And that's what I said. Since the first time we met, when he was getting his haircut and I was waiting in line. And when he was getting out of the chair for the first time, I saw Jose was moving himself. I think your wife actually helped you on that one. Moved himself into his mobility device. So, Jose, tell us a little bit about what the Mindset Disruptor is and what it means, and B, just a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on your show and letting me hang out with you and your audience. I appreciate it. But yeah, the Mindset Disruptor comes from, I grew up with a neuromuscular condition called spinal muscular atrophy, and I was diagnosed at the age of 3. The doctor said that by the age of 15, I'd end up in a wheelchair, and they weren't expecting me to live past my teenage years. But the good news is that this year I just turned 46. So thank God for that. I'm still kicking life's butt.
Young man. Yeah. I got you beat.
Ah, man, you look good though for our age, man.
Yeah.
So, the Mindset Disruptor comes from basically everything I had to go through in life with dealing with this condition, because it's a slowly progressive muscle deteriorating disease. So I was able to walk all the way up until I was 22 years old. And then after that, that's when I lost my ability to walk. So, and even since then, up until now, every couple of years, my body goes through another shift of decreased mobility because this is what the condition does. So Mindset Disruptor comes from, I had this disruption in my body that had me stuck, stagnant, and feeling stranded for many years of my life, until I just said enough is enough. I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I had to change things up. And so what that meant was I had to start doing some research, doing some homework, reading some books, networking, getting outside of my comfort zone, smash limiting beliefs that I had about myself, overcome stereotypes, and breaking barriers that were created to, in essence, the society we live in wasn't built for people such as myself who have to live every day in a wheelchair. So accessibility and things like that, right? So the mindset disruption came from just being able to disrupt what I call the quote unquote normal way of thinking, or the programming that we were all programmed with from birth, right? And I saw this thing one time that said that, even as adults, we don't even know who we are, because what we think we know from the programming that was given to us from childhood. So that's why when you ask even a lot of adults, even when I'm speaking at conferences, I ask people like, how many of you by showing hands even know what you really want out of life? There's not a lot of hands that get raised, and it's because of the programming. And so that's where the mindset, again, disruption comes in. Is like, we need to be able to disrupt the programming that was instilled with us, even if it was from our parents. Not that they did a bad thing, but they just did what they thought was best. And all they did was teach us what they knew. Right.
And it's funny because, I'm going to say our parents are probably of the like-minded age and mentality. I grew up in a traditionally Jewish household. And the Jews and everybody else, we all have, the same thing. You go to school, you do this, you do that, you work hard, you make money, you do what it is. And, could you imagine, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, turning to your mom or your dad or whatever and saying, hey, I've got a life coach? They'd be like, what? Like, you need a therapist. You don't need a life coach, Or I've got a business coach. What do you mean? You got someone telling you what to do? Get married or get a boyfriend or get a girlfriend. They'll tell you what to do. Or listen to your mother. I'll tell you what to do. And these days, pre-COVID, I'm not saying this is a COVID thing. It's the norm. You ask most professional people or most people that have a desire to better themselves, how they do it. They read and they have coaches. That's and they interact. And that's what this mindset disruptor is with you. And I love it. I remember when you took that leap of faith and parted ways with your full-time job to go all in. I know I was nervous for you, but I know you were nervous for you as well. And I mean, you're crushing it, dude.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's the programming. It's like, we need this job. We need this job to feel secure. We need this job to provide for ourselves, right? And if we don't have the job, then we can't provide for ourselves. So we automatically default to that scarcity mentality, right? That poverty mentality, like there's not enough. And so, when I took that leap of faith, bro, I was shaking in my boots, right?
I know. We got on multiple phone calls. I remember.
And entrepreneurship, and this because you're an entrepreneur too. You don't know when the next check is coming in, right? You gotta go out there and you gotta hunt for that check. You gotta go network. You gotta, right? Like Grant Cardone likes to say, you wake up and say, "Who's got my money?" Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you gotta find business. You gotta find ways, and I like it because that means it pushes us to be creative, to think outside the box, to disrupt our minds and the minds of other people, and to let them know, like, hey, listen, you don't have to settle for what life throws your way. You don't have to settle for the cards that you've been dealt. You can go out there and you can become more, do more, and learn more and crush it. And that's what I decided to do not too long ago, to be honest with you. I spent more of my life living in fear and scarcity and in a mindset of lack than I did of the opposite, which is abundance, positivity and limitless thinking. So
I mean, look, if you just think about just the 7 or 8 minutes that were on the show, right? You said that you were supposed to lose mobility at around 15. You were 22, you said. You said that your life expectancy was in your 20s. You've doubled that already. From what I can see as an outsider looking in, I'm not your doctor, nor do I ask medical questions, but you look healthy. I'm watching you, and I'm going to plug this now, primarily on LinkedIn, but also on Instagram. You're doing things where you're standing. You have. I understand it's slow, but you have mobility.
Yeah.
You are getting there, and to me, that's showing, dude. If he can do it, why can't I? Like, you are bettering yourself every day.
And that's the whole thing, man. That's my whole mantra. Like my slogan is, I won't stop until I win, right? And sometimes people will look at me and they be like, man, Jose, you're winning already. And I'm like, yeah, but you know how many more wins are out there for me to obtain? Like, we don't stop winning until we die, right? Because there's so many opportunities, there's so many possibilities. And again, once your mind is expanded and exposed to a new level of thinking and a new level of being, you can never go back, right, to where you were.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the commercial for the new Matrix movie that's coming out. Because, it's just like that. But no, I mean, that's truly what it is. You could sit there and okay, these are the cards I'm dealt, so be it. Or it could be, okay, these are the cards I'm dealt, but more is going to come. I recently had a friend of mine, Mark Noodleberg, on the show. And I've also gone to a couple of speaking engagements that Mark did. And he strongly recommended this book called Atomic Habits.
Oh,
I don't know. Have you read it?
I haven't read it, but I know a lot of people recommend it.
It talks about 1% better every day. And it does it mathematically, and it does it. And my son, Logan and I were driving back from Maryland to Florida, and it's a 6-hour audiobook. And we listened to the whole thing together. And it talks about how you get 1% better every day. And if you compound it and think about it on your money, you have $1 and you give yourself 1% more, you now have $1.01. And you give yourself 1% more and you're at $1.02, and then you're at $1.06. And before you know it, you're sitting on $1 million and you haven't done anything except 1% better each day.
That's right.
And that's the mindset. That's what it is. If you can go to bed at night saying, I did that much better during today, and I'm ready to do it again tomorrow, then you're in good shape. And the reason I kind of went into the book Atomic Habits is you have a book. I actually am proud to say I helped a little bit with the book, making sure it was done all right. Not writing, not content, none of that, but just making sure legally. And so tell us a little bit about your book and where you can find the book. Amazon, but where you can find the book.
Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the book is called Don't Let Your Struggle Become Your Standard: How to Be Indispensable Even When the Odds Are Stacked Against You. And so I wrote that book because everybody struggles, right? We all have a struggle. Mine is visible. You can see it. I can't hide it. I can't put it in my pocket, but there's people that struggle mentally, have, mental health issues, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, low confidence, and the list can go on and on and on. So I wanted to write this book to let the world know that we are going to deal with struggles. We are going to experience struggles. We're going to have to go through struggles, but we don't have to let those struggles become our standard. And a lot of times what happens is that life will happen to us and we just accept it as that being what it is, right? You ever heard that story? It is what it is, right? It isn't what it is. You make it what it is. You believe what it is, but that doesn't have to be what it actually finally is, right? So I like to say that my condition is not my conclusion, right? So just because I have this condition doesn't mean I'm finished, right? It's not my conclusion. I have to just figure out ways to navigate this life a little differently from people like you that are able-bodied, right? So but again, that I'm okay with that, right? These are the cards I was dealt. I'm going to figure it out, in other words, and I'm not going to settle for living on disability checks. I'm not going to settle for living on government assistance. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. If you need it, you need it, and you go and get it, right? We used to be on that when I was younger. But I feel like that's just like a stepping stone, right? That's there to help you get back on your feet and then go out there and crush life and make things happen for yourself. So Anyway, you can get the book on Amazon, like you said, Jason. You can get it on Audible because it's on Audible and it's in my own voice. I recorded it twice because the first time we made a mistake, but I had to do it twice, which was fine. Second time is a charm, right? Well, he said third time a charm, but I did it in two.
Yeah, but second time's still a charm. It's all good.
So anyway, you can get it on Audible, or if you want a signed copy, you can get it from my website, which is joseinspires.com, and I'll go ahead and John Hancock it for you and mail it out for you as well.
Dude, it's a no-brainer. What was that website one more time?
joseinspires.com.
joseinspires.com. Go on there, get a signed book, and you will read it. And you know what I like is the mentality that's in there. It's okay. This is what I'm dealt. I'm not going to sit home and do nothing. I'm not going to not work. I'm not going to, feel sorry for myself. I am going to go ahead and get out there and crush it.
That's right.
And again, you watch Jose on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm sure you're on other platforms, but those are the two that I watch. And you see what he's doing on a daily basis. You see the positivity. You see the belief in faith and family and in the important things that goes through his mind, and raising two boys. I mean, proud dad of two phenomenal kids that have done great. A wife that you married how long now?
We just celebrated 16 years this past weekend.
Yeah, 16 years. I mean, that's crazy in a good way. I mean, I'm at shoot, if I don't, I'm at 24. So
Oh wow, silver lining. You're right at the silver lining.
Yep. So hey, next year's a big year. So we'll see. But just it's just great stuff. And everybody has their shtick. Everybody has their issue. Everybody has their problem. Even the person that's driving the Lamborghini or the Ferrari, someone dinged their car, someone ripped their tire, they got it towed, it got stolen. I mean, that's still a problem to that person, and that takes over their life. It's probably not the same as, when you were 22 and you weren't able to walk. But again, it's everybody has problems, and we can't let those problems, we can't dwell on them. We can't, oh my God, woe is me. No. And one of the things that Mark and I talked about, and I've been doing this for the past 2 weeks now, is he gave himself the 24-hour rule. I don't know if you do something like that as well. I guarantee you do. But it's when you get kicked in the teeth or you get knocked down or you do something, you get back up and you give yourself 1 day to recover. Kind of like, and he did it in the context of athletes. You go and you get in, to the game, and you gave up the winning touchdown or the winning home run, whatever it was, and you're down on yourself. You have a day to recover, and next day you get back up and you do it again.
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely do that. I like to say that, because I have one of my mentors is Les Brown, right? He wrote the foreword to my book. He's one of the world's top motivational speakers on the planet. If you're into personal development, business development, you've heard his name. If you haven't, you've probably been under a rock somewhere. But he actually calls me the motivator to the motivators, because I motivate the heck out of him a lot of times, right? And so I like to say that, even as me being the guy who's always smiling, who's always positive, who's always motivating, encouraging, inspiring others, like, I'm human and I have my days too. But that's the key you just mentioned, Jason, is that it's just, you have your day, right? You have a day. Don't let those days don't let those moments turn into the days, and those days into weeks, those weeks into months, and then those months into years, because then next thing you know, you're looking and you're going to spiral down this rabbit hole of woe is me, pity party, depression, things aren't happening for me. And it's real easy to fall down that hole and go down that path. And it's very, very hard to climb out of it. So that's why that 24-hour rule, or that 1 day rule, or even maybe if it takes 2 days, but that's it, no more than 2. I always say, like, no more than 2 days. After that, you got to brush the dust off and get back up and get back at it, because if not, then the negativity, the depression, and all these other things will start to kick in. And then that's when it starts to become very unhealthy. So I don't let it happen to me. Like, again, that's part of mindset disruption, right? Your mind automatically defaults to what's not working, to why you're not happy, why you don't have these things, why does everyone else have this and you don't, and the why me type of, why this is happening, why me, why not, and you go down this whole rabbit hole. But again, that takes mindset disruption to you have a higher level of awareness to recognize why you're feeling like that and say, okay, well, what can I think about that I'm grateful for? So I might not be able to walk and throw a football with my kids or hug my wife the way I would want to, but you know what? I know how to hug her heart. I know how to speak words of affirmation over her. I know how to speak positively over her. I know how to play PlayStation I can't throw a football, but I'll play some John Madden with my kids and still spank them in it and have them, walking away all pissed off at me. But, I have my ways and I figure it out. So, and this is another thing, I wasn't, you mentioned phenomenal dad, and that was one of my dreams growing up. Like, is a woman ever going to love me like this? Am I going to have children? Am I going to be able to own a home? Am I going to be able to be successful? Right? Because we all want to reach success, whatever that looks like.
Check, right? Check all of them.
So for me, I always thought like the opposite. I was like, man, nobody's going to love me like this. I'm like damaged goods. Like, there's like not a slew of women lined up saying, hey, let me marry the guy in the wheelchair and everything that comes along with that. Like, sign me up, right? That's just reality. There's not a lot of women out there. So the fact that my wife has stood the test of time. She's been my ride or die, my rock, and my kids too. We work as a team. Like, that's one of the things I talk about when I present to corporations is teamwork, right? And I know a lot of companies talk about that and they try to incorporate that, but are they really functioning in that capacity is a different question. So I have a unique way of bringing, my life experiences into the corporate arena, into the corporate space, because I also have a 20-year corporate America background as well. So I know how to speak into that. And so when I'm doing my presentations, it's captivating. I make it captivating. I make it engaging. I know how to hold the crowd. I know how to make it engaging to where it's interactive and they're just not sitting there hearing me lecture them. And so, you know what, Jason, is like, I'm a man who wears many hats. And it's because I realize and I understand that this life is very short and we only have a limited amount of time before we can make an impact and leave a legacy.
Well, you just gave me a whole runway. So life is short, wearing lots of hats, doing all that. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about a little bit with the corporate coaching, a little bit about the accessibility. And then you don't know it yet, but I usually ask like really, really tough questions at the end. So be prepared. Start sweating now, my man. You better take a drink of water. So we'll be back. Thanks to our great sponsors for this commercial. And we'll be back in a minute or two. Hang tight, Jose. I will do the same. JoseInspires.com.
Hi, I'm John Thomas. I want to share with you a professional products and services directory we call Going Solo Directory. And you need to check this out. If you want exposure to your business or are seeking professional product or services, this directory has it all. And that membership, for the many special features, you get the benefit of a worldwide exposure with a 40-minute video interview on an international business show showcase. All this for just one low annual fee. For more information, contact GoingSoloDirectory.com.
We are back. I am Jason Weiss on the Ask Jason Weiss show on the GoingSoloMedia.com. Although I am an attorney, nothing today is legal advice. There is no attorney-client privilege and no attorney-client relationship here. And again, I have with me Jose Flores, the Mindset Disruptor. So we're talking a little bit about you were in corporate America for a little while. You did some corporate work, we'll leave it at that, and business and all of that. And now you've turned that into a full-time speaking, motivational coaching, author of one book as of now, but rumor has it there might be a second book coming out at some point soon.
That's right.
But one of the things that you mentioned had to do with the access to certain places. And one of the areas of law that I focused in for many, many years was helping individuals with physical disabilities access places with barriers. And, when I first got into it, I was into it because my grandfather needed a wheelchair towards the end of his days and all of that, needed a cane prior to that. And traveling with him, it was always difficult. And I know that you and I have talked about pool lifts and door opening and all of that. And I remember I was on 595 and I was driving and I got a phone call from you. And I don't recall if it was your birthday or your anniversary, but you told me that you were away for the weekend with your wife and you thanked me. And I'm like, what'd you thank me for? And you're like, well, I know you were involved in a lawsuit having to do with a pool lift at this place that my wife and I have been going to for years. And she used to have to pick me up and carry me in. I got in on the chair and I literally was crying in the car ride. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was all by myself and it was awesome. And that's what motivates me to do some of the work that I do for things like that. And I know you tell your story because you're able to say to any person on the planet, man, woman, I'm trying to be binary and I'm trying to be, every human being, every living thing on this planet. You're trying to say to them, look, you can do this. You just need to change the way your mind is. So you were talking a little bit about corporate America and how you were there, and now you speak that. So tell us a little bit about what's coming down the pipe, what we can expect in a book number 2, I heard as well. So tell us a little bit about that, where you're heading. Where's your next, 6 to 12 months? What's the Jose plan?
Yeah, so right now I'm currently traveling the United States, speaking at different corporations at their annual conferences, annual summits, their meetings. Sometimes they even have executive retreats where they'll bring in somebody to come and motivate the executive team. So I do a lot of that, but I also do.
And can they find you and book you through your website? Is that where they
Absolutely.
go? Is that the best place to do it? Okay,
absolutely.
So, right.
Believe it or not, though, a lot of times, Jason, I get a lot of my my hiring and my speaking engagements through LinkedIn. A lot of times they'll see me on LinkedIn and they'll shoot me a message and saying, hey, we want to hire Jose. What are the fees? And, so that's why I'm active on LinkedIn, because I know that there's a lot of corporate companies that are looking for.
So find Jose Flores, the Mindset Disruptor, on LinkedIn or joseinspires.com, either way.
Yep.
Phenomenal motivator, phenomenal man. I mean, forget about motivator, phenomenal man, period.
Yeah.
That's just the best way to put it. All right. So I interrupted you. So you've been going to various different events. They've been
corporate conferences. Yeah. And then also we also our expertise is also doing workshop facilitation as well. So if they want to bring somebody in, so like one of my sweet spots is DEI, right? Which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's a hot topic nowadays. Corporations, they even have DEI departments.
Yep.
And DEI vice presidents and directors that are dealing with DEI across the board within their organization. And sometimes they just want to bring in a new voice, a new speaker to come in and speak to that. So I'll do workshops and presentations, whether it's 2 hours, 4 hours, or a full day workshop. We customize our presentations to whatever fits your needs. And so we not only do DEI, but we also do leadership. We also do mental resiliency. We also do teamwork, and we also do employee engagement. Like, how do you get your employees engaged, which is a big one for corporations, but in a healthy way, right? Because a lot of times they'll say, oh, fill out this survey and tell us what you really mean. And it's anonymous. And everybody's like, no, it's not anonymous. Like, they don't have that sense of security, feeling that if they really tell what they really have on their heart or what they feel or what's on their mind, then they're going to get that target put on their back. And then you know what happens in corporate America. So I like to.
When you say we, I know that you are a happily married man, and your wife is your life partner, your business partner, your soulmate, all that great stuff. You have 2 boys. They are part of the team. So is that what you mean by the team when you say we? It's the 4 Floreses flourishing?
Yeah. And it's also some of the people that I hire with me, like the photographers, the videographers that come along. Sometimes I'll have an assistant that'll come along depending upon the event. And so when I say team, I say the whole team that's behind Jose Flores, Jose Inspires. Everybody that helps to make me do what I do and build my social media presence online. That's what I mean by team. So when I come in, obviously I'm the face of the company. So when I come in, I'm the one that's presenting, but there's a whole team in the back that makes the magic happen. You know this, right? As a business owner,
100%.
you're not the one making the phone calls and setting the appointments and pulling up these papers and printing and all. So anyhow, that's what I mean. So if you're looking for an amazing, powerful, captivating speaker to come and present for one of your annual conferences, or if you want to bring somebody in who can facilitate a workshop on some of the topics, you can go to my website to see what they are. Look no further, because I'm that guy. And I can tell you this, that one thing, if nothing at all, that you're going to get by bringing me in when I leave, the energy that I'm going to leave within your organization is going to be long lasting. Because that's why I don't really like to use motivational speaker, because we know that, once the motivator leaves, the motivation goes with him, right? So we have to figure out ways that we can get your teams to build their self-motivation. How can they be self-motivated on a daily basis to wake up and come into work motivated, happy, ready to produce and get results for you as a business owner, right? How can we get them thinking differently? That's where, again, the mindset disruption comes in. So when you have people, and the reality is, Jason, that statistically speaking, I think the statistic is either 85 or 86% of Americans here in the US hate going to a job that they go to every Monday. Yeah, that's almost, when you think about it, that's almost everybody.
Right. No, I mean, if you think about it, it's most of the population, myself included, 2 days of enjoyment on Saturday and Sunday, and 5 days of blah, Monday through Friday. And you got to change that. I'm not going to say, look, nobody on this planet, not even yourself, could say that you would much rather be doing something for work than sitting and playing Madden, beating your boys. Like, we know that that's what it is. But okay, I can't play Madden because I've got to earn a living. How can I earn a living and still smile? And that's what this guy does.
Exactly.
And you take it across all different platforms. I mean, so you have a book, you're published. You told me before the show starts that you're getting ready to potentially launch a second book.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that second book, and now that you got us motivated and you disrupted our mind, what's part 2?
Yeah, so actually, this will be my third book that I'm writing with my wife. So my first book was an ebook, which it's a book, but I really don't count it because it's a digital and it's not really that lengthy. It's about 40 something pages, but technically it's still on Amazon. But this is my third published book, my second physical hard copy book, or not hard copy, but it's paperback, but physical book. So first one was Don't Let Your Struggle Become Your Standard. I wanted to show the world what that looks like, how to overcome it, how to get through it, how to push through until you get through, right? Developing that mindset so that you can become a mindset disruptor as well, not only for yourself, but for your family, your coworkers, your employer, your employees, if you own a business, your neighborhood, your church family, wherever you go. How can you help disrupt other people's ways of thinking, right? That aren't getting them ahead in life. So after we accomplish that, we're crushing that. Book sales are going good with that. Now I wanted to tackle another area, which is marriages, right? So my wife and I, we go through the same struggles and challenges that every other marriage goes through, but then you throw in the whole wheelchair and caregiving aspect, and now that's a whole different ball game, right? And so if we're able to not only survive, but thrive in our marriage with all of these other different extra components that are added onto our relationship, that are sometimes stressful and strenuous and frustrating and overwhelming, but we're still able to thrive through that, then we wanted to be able to help other families do that as well, because we believe that, my wife and I are both products of broken families. And we believe that and we've been an example for our kids, right, all these years by staying together. So we believe that if we can help keep a marriage together, then we can potentially help keep a family together. And, Jason, that, when you have a healthy family dynamic at home, that trickles into every other area of your life, whether it's business, your future relationships, your not only with your future husbands or wives, but also just friendships like you and I have. Like, how do we cultivate friendships and relationships down the line? All stems from the relationships that we see at home, right? So we believe.
Plus, we have an affinity for the same places. We eat the same pizza, we eat the same wings. I'm still going to the same haircut guy. I don't know, if you are or not. I'm sure you are, but it's all about relationships. It's all about that. And look, you could be a solo business owner and have relationships. You could be a divorced or a single individual and still have those relationships. Every relationship is different, and there's no such thing. Look, what works for you and your wife may not work for me and my wife, may not work for my family, but it works.
That's right.
You're at 16 years, I'm at 24 years. Something must work.
Yeah.
Because I don't think either one of us would be fortunate enough to have our wives stay with us if something didn't work, because, my wife could definitely do better. Your wife, you guys are equal. You guys are both great people. So you're even. And when you show her the recording,
you're funny.
I knew I liked Jason. There was a reason for that.
Yeah, I was telling her I was going to be on. She was like, man, we definitely got to link up with them again and get some wings. So we got to put
Wings Plus, baby. Wings Plus, Sample Road, Coral Springs. I'm no longer in the Springs area, but I'll drive that 45 minutes for those wings, but I'll drive even further to see you. So that's the important thing. Nice. We're getting towards the end. We took the commercial break a little bit later because I wanted to keep you going. And usually I save the end question for like the toughest question, and I always freak out my guests and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that you spoke about was Les Brown. And we've talked about food. So other than the obvious, which is your wife and your sons, if you had an opportunity to go to lunch with somebody to ask whatever questions it is that you want to ask, who would it be and why?
That's a great question. If I had to pick one person, I would probably pick Patrick Bet-David. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
I have not. So for the listeners that haven't either, who is that? Patrick
Bet-David. He is the owner and founder of a company called Valuetainment online on YouTube. He's actually the owner of a company called PHP, which is an insurance company. He made millions through that. He has an amazing story. Came from Iran. Anyway, he has one of those underdog stories where he came from Iran, came to the United States, joined the U.S. military, started working for these odd jobs companies. Anyhow, dude is very, very super smart, very intelligent. And
I kid you not, I got a LinkedIn request today from somebody who works at Valuetainment. Hey, brother, I'm so-and-so from Valuetainment on behalf of Patrick Bet-David.
Look at that.
So I'm going to make this happen. So we're going to try to get you some lunch with Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah. And the funny thing is he used to live in Texas. His company's based out of Texas. He used to live there. He just recently moved down here to Fort Lauderdale.
Yep.
And has the Valuetainment headquarters now is in Oakland, on Oakland Park, and US 1 somewhere, not too far from us. And he has a whole production studio, podcasting, TV, video, like he's growing up crazy. And he has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. But the value that he adds is just tremendous. And I like this guy because he's very outspoken, very opinionated. He doesn't try to be politically correct, but he has a way of delivering it in a way that you got to respect the man. Whether you like what he's saying or not, you just got to respect his hustle. You got to respect his game to the forefront, and talking about things that most people will only talk about behind closed doors, or where they're not going to get scrutinized. So I give him credit for that. And I just like him. I like his attitude. I like his personality. He's funny. He's engaging. He's outgoing. And he's not like so high up there that he's like, oh, I don't want to deal with these little peons down here. He's like very personable, and I actually connected with him one time via LinkedIn because I wanted to get him on my podcast. And at the time, I only think I had about 40 episodes. And he was like, hit me back when you have 100. And now I have like over 100 episodes. And
time to hit him back.
Yeah, now it's time to hit him back. But it's cool how everything works out, because now he's here in Fort Lauderdale, which when I reached out to him, he still wasn't. So you're only 6 degrees away from knowing or getting connected to that person that you want to get connected with. So anyhow, Patrick Bet-David, very knowledgeable, a man full of wisdom in all aspects, relationship. He has a wife, kids, successful business. Now he has the valuetainment where he adds a tremendous amount of value to the marketplace. And so I would love to be able to sit down and just, have that lunch and that conversation with them.
So you're going to lunch. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. And
one way or another, it's going to happen, man.
Yeah,
I know
we're going to go to We'll either go to Wings Plus or Pasquale's. We'll do one of those. We'll get our wings. Maybe we'll do Pasquale's, because wings, I could see both of us sitting there with like all the stuff on our face and, flinging things. And, I'm a messy eater. But Jose, love what you're doing. Keep at it. You inspire so many people that you know of and so many people that you don't know of. JoseInspires.com, Mindset Disruptor. Check out his book, order his book, go on his website and get it from there, and he'll personalize it for you. Don't let your struggle become your standard. Be indispensable even when the odds are stacked against you. And this guy, he keeps rising to the top. Cream of the crop, and I'm just honored and blessed to have you as a friend, and I thank you for everything you do, and I can't wait to break bread with you really soon. In the background running this show, of course, is Cece. Couldn't happen without her. She is just awesome. Check her out at goingsolomedia.com. If you want to get in touch with me, askjasonweiss.com. Find me on Instagram at Jason Weiss. Jose, you on Instagram?
Yes, I'm on every platform at Jose Inspires. Is really simple, at Jose Inspires.
So no excuse not to find him. Follow him, tag him, love him. Just great people. Cece, again, thank you. GoingSoloMedia.com. Thank you, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
Real quick, Jason. Real quick, I just wanted to do something as well, because I'm a real firm believer in the power of showing up. So for everybody that showed up to listen to this episode and all of your other episodes, I just have a free gift, no strings attached, for every one of your listeners or viewers. They can just go to freegift.joseinspires.com. It's a free MP3 download on a motivational talk that I did called The Power of Showing Up. So that's my gift from me to you and your audience.
And if you go do that and you contact me, I'll send you a batch of coffee. I'm starting to brew again. I'm excited. I just got some beans in from Kenya, Ethiopia, and Mexico. And my beans are starting to grow, so I'm going to have homemade ones too. So here we go. Jose, thank you so much. Look forward to meeting up with you again soon. And to everybody out there, stay safe, stay cool, because it's hot out there, and stay safe because we're getting thunderstorms up here. Take care, everyone. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.